back. It's good to see you. Today we're on lesson 5 of the 20-part series of guitar fundamentals. We've talked about guitar anatomy, tuning, open chords, bar chords, and now we're going to discuss extended chords. All right, so what's an extended chord? It is a typical chord, which is 3 notes, which is based off your root, your third, and your fifth note, and you're adding something to it. Sometimes you might be suspending something, and which would be a sus chord. We're going to discuss that in the second part of this, but the first part is the extended chord. You're going to add a note. And typically when you add a note, you have your 1, 3, and your 5, your root, your third, and your fifth. The next note you would add would be a 7th typically. All right, for beginners. There's 6 chords, there's 9 chords, there's 11s, there's 13s. We're not getting into those right now. We're just going to talk about 7th, which is the first. So now you'll have 4 notes. You'll have your root, your third, your fifth, and then your 7th. Okay, so 4-note chord. And let's start off. Let's get into the difference actually between a major 7th, a minor 7th, and a dominant 7th. Those are the 3 types of 7 chords you're going to see. And what a major 7 chord is actually, let's do the dominant 7th. You see that more often. All right, so if we took an A chord, as you know, that's an A major chord. All right, it's got an A note, the E, which is its 5th. You've got another A, got a C sharp, and E. A, C sharp, and E. That's the A major. Now, if you wanted to make it a 7th chord, you have 2 options. You can make it a major 7th or a dominant 7th. A dominant 7th is typically used in blues. You'll hear like that. That A7. And it's usually notated as just A7, okay? An A major 7 is typically known as A with a capital M-A-G 7, so A major 7th. It's different. Dominant 7 is just an A7 chord. You'll see E7's the Hendrix chord. G7, A7. And what that is you're adding a flattened 7th note. So I don't want to get too deep into theory. We have that coming up, but what we're basically doing is taking this A chord and you're going to add a flat 7th. So the flat 7th of the A is a G note, okay? So if you remove your ring finger off, you have a G string right here. That's a G note, all right? So you can play open A, 2nd fret of that D would give you an E, which is your 5th. So you got your root, your 5th, and then that open G would give you your flat 7th, so your dominant 7th. And then you can put your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the B to get your 3rd, the C sharp, so you know it's a major chord. Then that high E. Here's the difference. Here's an A major, and the A7. It's a little more bluesy sounding. It's a flattened 7th. All right, and in the key of A, it's typically a G sharp, but you're flattening it. When you flatten the 7th, it gives you that really bluesy sound. Okay. And you can do that with other chords too. You can add on like a C. If you add your little finger to the G string at the 3rd fret, you're gonna go G, A, or I'm sorry, G, A flat, B. Yeah, let's try that again. You get your G string, and then G sharp, then an A, and then an A sharp or B flat. They're the same thing. You have a B flat there. And if that's your C root, your flattened 7th is a B flat. So you play your C chord, put your little finger on the 3rd fret of that G to get your B flat note in there, and now you have what we call a C7, C dominant 7, C7. D7, E7. They're very bluesy sounding, okay? So all you're doing is adding a flattened 7th note in there, and that gives you a dominant 7. A major 7 would be adding the major 7th note, which on an A, we'll go back to that A chord. The A dominant 7 was adding a flattened 7th, which was that. Now if I want to add a major 7th, the key of E, or key of A would be A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and then G sharp back to A. So you're going to want the flat and the seventh would be a G sharp. Okay, you want to add a G sharp to an A chord to make it an A major 7, and we can do that simply like there's your A. That G string, 3rd fret, is an A. If you just go down a half step, now you have a G sharp. So you can add that in. You can make that little upside down triangle. Major 7ths are kind of a nice jazzy, pretty sound. Like, so you have your A and your A major 7th. It's a real nice, pretty sound. C major 7. I'm not going to teach you how to play all the different 7th chords because there's a ton, but they're very, very pretty sounds. All right. And then the other three, you have dominant 7th, major 7th, and then your other 7th will be a minor 7th. And what that is it's just a minor chord, and you're going to add that flat 7 because in a minor scale, the 7th is flattened. All right. That's something we'll get to down the road when you have scales, major versus minor scales. The real differences from a major and minor is your minor scale has a flattened 3rd, a 6th, and a 7th. Those notes are all flattened down. So a minor 7th, you're going to have a flat 7th. So an A minor 7, you've got your A minor chord. You want to get that G in there. So if you take that ring finger off, as you learned before, off that G, you have an open G. So now you can add that G note to that A minor chord and give you an A minor 7. So here's an A minor. Here's an A minor 7. It's a nice sound. C minor 7, D minor 7, D minor basically. It's used in jazz, blues. It's just another color flavor you can add to a minor chord. All right, E minor 7. Got your E minor. You can add the 7th, which on E would be a D. You can add a D here. That's a nice tone. There's different ways to build them, but you're just adding that note. All right, so the second half of this would be what we call suspended chords. You'll see like in an A, I like the A, and the D is a good example too. Let's use the D today. You got your D major. If you take your middle finger off and play that high E open, you now remove that F sharp note to an E. The F sharp is what lets you know that's a D major. If you're removing that and you play the E, you've now suspended that 3rd note and you've added a 2nd. So it's called a sus2 chord. If you ever see sus2, what you're doing is suspending that 3rd of the chord and replacing it with a 2nd of that chord. So there's a D. This is a D sus2. All right, and if you had your little finger onto that 3rd fret and you had that G note in, now you're still suspending that 3rd note, that F sharp, and you're putting G in. You've now replaced it with what's called the 4th of that scale, and that's a D sus4. So there's a D. That's the D sus4. A little brighter, a little happier. You've removed the 3rd, so you're letting the listener know it's not major or minor, and you're going to replace it with a 2nd or a 4th to give it a kind of an ambiguous kind of feel. And that's the fun part of the D chords. You can mix and match those. You can. And all I'm doing is playing the D, but I'm using a sus2, a sus4, and that's the fun part of it. It's like I said, I don't want to get too deep into theory. We'll get to that down the road, but that's what that's doing. You can do the same thing with an A. You know, your little finger is giving you that C sharp, your 3rd of the chord. If you remove that, now you're picking up the 2nd, which is a B. It's not major, minor. It leaves it unknown. Put your pinky finger back. Now it's a major. Move it up 1. All right. So those are suspended, sus2, sus4s. Those are the 2 common ones, A and D. You can do it anywhere, but those are the easiest ones. And then the last one I want to talk about is an add 9. I'm sure you've seen a C add 9, and that's this chord here. looks like a G chord. That's a G. Just moving these two fingers down. And what you're doing is you're playing a C chord, but you're adding what's called a ninth. All right? And what that is in the C major scale, you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then back to C. You're actually adding that second note in, the D, but you're not suspending your third. So you're adding it to it, so now it's a C add 9. If you replace the third with the D, the second would be a C sus2. That's not what we're doing. We've got our C. You've got your E note. So there's your third, so you know it's a major. And then you've got the G, which is your fifth. So we now have a C chord. Then you're going to add that note right there. That's a D. So because we didn't suspend a third of the chord, we're adding a note to it. It's an add. So it's an add 9 is what we call it, because if you were to go C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or yeah, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D would be 9 positions. All right, and then you can put your little finger back on there and get another G in there. Doesn't hurt anything. It's got a bright sound. It's a happy sound because it's a C major chord. You've got your third in there. There's the C major and the C add 9. It brings it up. You're adding that tone in there. It's a little brighter. All right, that's an add 9, and you can do that with all different chords. All right, then there's 11s, there's 13s. We're not getting into them right now, but so yeah, that's some extended chords, building off of some basic chords, and a little bit of theory in there for you. Like I said, hopefully it wasn't too much theory. We'll get to that later. So thanks for watching. I will see you next time.